सारोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15. The Pandavas retire timely. Shloka number 16. Yat doshuma pranihitam Guru Bhīṣma Karṇa Naproti Garta Śalya Saindava Bāhlika Adehi Ashrani Amogam Mahimani Nirupitani Na Upasprishuhu Nu Haridasam Eva Asurani Yat doshuma pranihitam Guru Bhīṣma Karṇa Natru Trigarta Śalya Saindava Bāhlika Adehi Ashrani Amoga Mahimani Nirupitani Na Upasprishuhu Nu Haridasam Eva Asurani Yat doshuma pranihitam Gurum Bhīṣma Karṇa Natru Trigarta Śalya Saindava Bāhlika Adehi Ashrani Amoga Mahimani Nirupitani Na Upasprishuhu Nru Haridasam Eva Asurani. Hare Krishna, please read. Hare Krishna. Ashish Prabhuji. Sadhu Sangha Prabhuji, Ashish Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yat doshuhu ma pranihitam Guru Bhīṣma Karṇan Truptigirta Śalya Saindava Bāhlika Adehi Astrani Amog Mahimani Nirupitani Asprishuhuna Haridasam Eva Asurani.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Great general like Bhīṣma, Droṇa, Karṇa, Bhūriśravā, Suśarmā, Śalya, Jayadratha and Bāhlika all directed their invincible weapons against me. But by his Lord Krishna's grace, they could not even touch a hair on my head. Similarly, Prahlāda Mahārāja, the supreme devotee of the Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, was unaffected by the weapon the demons used against him. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The history of Prahlāda Mahārāja, the great devotee of Nṛsiṁhadeva, is narrated in the 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlāda Mahārāja, a small child of only 5 years, became the object of envy for his great father Hiraṇyakaśipu only because of his becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. The demon father employed all his weapons to kill the devotee's son Prahlāda, but by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from all sorts of dangerous actions by his father. He was thrown in a fire in boiling oil from the top of a hill underneath the legs of an elephant, and he was administered poison. At last, the father himself took up a chopper to kill his son, and thus Nṛsiṁhadeva appeared and killed the heinous father in the presence of the son. Thus, no one can kill the devotee of the Lord. Similarly, Arjuna was also saved by the Lord, although all dangerous weapons were employed by his great opponents like Bhīṣma, Karṇa. Born of Kunti by the sun god prior to her marriage with Maharaj Pandu, Karna took his birth with bangles and earrings, extraordinary signs for an undaunted hero. In the beginning, his name was Vasusen, but when he grew up, he presented his natural bangles and earrings to Indradeva, and thenceforth he became known as Vaikarna. After his birth from the maiden Kunti, he was thrown in the Ganges. Later, he was picked up by the Adhirath, and his wife Radha brought him up as their own offspring. Karna was very charitable, especially toward the Brahmana. There was nothing he could not spare for a Brahmana. In the same charitable spirit, he gave in charity his natural bangles and earrings to Indradev, who, being very much satisfied with him, gave him in return a great weapon called Shakti. He was admitted as one of the students of Dronacharya, and from the very beginning there was some rivalry between him and Arjuna. Seeing his constant rivalry with Arjuna, Duryodhana picked him up as his companion, and this gradually grew into greater intimacy. He was also present in the great assembly of the Draupadi's Swayamvar function, and when he attempted to exhibit his talent in that meeting, Draupadi's brother declared that Karna could not take part in the competition because of his being the son of Shudra carpenter. Although he was refused in the competition, still when Arjuna was successful in piercing the fish target on the ceiling and Draupadi bestowed her garland upon Arjuna, Krishna and the other disappointed princess offered Karna and the other disappointed princess offered an unusual stumbling block to Arjuna while he was living with Draupadi. Specifically, Karna fought with him very valiantly, but all of them were defeated by Arjuna. Duryodhana was very much pleased with Karna because of his constant rivalry and with Arjuna. And when he was in power, he enthroned Karna in the state of anger. Being baffled in his attempt to win Draupadi, Karna advised Duryodhana to attack King Drupad, for after defeating him, both Arjuna and Draupadi could be arrested. But Dronacharya rebuked them for this conspiracy, and they refrained from the action. Karna was defeated many times, not only by Arjuna but also by Bhimsen. He was the king of the kingdom of Bengal, Orissa, and Madras. Combined later on, he took an active part in the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthir. And when there was gambling between the rival brothers designed by Shakuni, Karna took part in the game, and he was very pleased when Draupadi was offered as a bet in the gambling. This fed his old grudge. When Draupadi was in the game, he was very enthusiastic to declare the news, and it is the he who ordered Dushasan to take away the garments of both the Pandavas and Draupadi. He asked Draupadi to select another husband because, being lost by the Pandavas, she was rendered a slave of the Kurus. He was always an enemy of the Pandavas, and whenever there was an opportunity, he tried to curb them by all means. During the battle of Kurukṣetra, he foresaw the conclusive result, and he expressed his opinion that due to Lord Krishna's being the chariot driver of Arjuna, the battle should be won by Arjuna. He always differed with Bhīṣma, and sometimes he was proud enough to say that within 5 days he could finish up the Pandavas if Bhishma would not interfere with his plan of action. But he was much mortified when Bhishma died. He killed Gatotkaal with the Shakti weapon obtained from Indradeva. Then Naprut or Bhūriśravā. Bhūriśravā was the son of Saumadatta, a member of the new Kuru family. His brother was Śalya. Both the brothers and the father attended the Swayamvar ceremony of Draupadi. All of them appreciated the wonderful strength of Arjuna due to his being the duty friend of the Lord. And thus Bhūriśravā advised the son of Dhritarashtra not to pick any quarrel or fight with them. All of them also attended the Rajasuya Yajna of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He possessed one Akshoni regiment of army, Shauri, elephant, and chariots, and all of these were employed in the battle of Kurukṣetra. Trigartha or Suśarmā, son of the Maharaj Kurukṣetra. He was the king of Trigartha Desh, and he was also present in the Swayamvar ceremony of Draupadi. He was one of the allies of Duryodhana. Jayadratha Another son of Maharaj Kurukṣetra. He was the king of Sindh, modern Sindh, Pakistan. His wife's name was Dushala. He was also present in the Swayamvar ceremony of the Draupadi. He desired very strongly to have her hand, but he failed in the competition. Um, then uh, Draupadi in an illicit manner through the Kurukṣetra, one of the associates. Draupadi at once refused vehemently the proposal of Jayadratha, but being so much attracted by the beauty of Draupadi, he tried again and again. Even time he was refused by Draupadi, he tried to take her away forcibly on his chariot. And at first, Draupadi gave him a good dashing, and he fell like a cutroot tree. But he was not discouraged, and he was able to force Draupadi to sit on the chariot. This incident was seen by Dhaumya Muni, and he strongly protested the actions of Jayadratha. He also followed the chariot, and through uh, Dhatrayika, the matter was brought to the notice of Maharaj Yudhishthir. The Pandavas then attracted the soldiers of Jayadratha and killed them all. And at last, Bhim caught hold of Jayadratha and beat him very severely, almost dead. Then all but five hairs were cut off his head, and he was taken to all the kings and introduced as the slave of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He was forced to admit himself to be the slave of Maharaj Yudhishthir before all the princely order, and in the same condition he was brought before Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir was kind enough to order him release, and when he admitted to being a tributary prince under Maharaj Yudhishthir, Queen Draupadi also desired his release. After this incident, he was allowed to return to his country, being so insulted. He went to Gangotri in the Himalaya and undertook a severe type of penance to please Lord Shiva. He asked his benediction to defeat all the Pandavas, at least one at a time. Then the battle of Kurukṣetra began, and he took sides with Duryodhana. In the first day fight, he was engaged with Maharaj Drupad, then with Virat, and then with Abhimanyu. While Abhimanyu was being killed, mercilessly surrounded by seven great generals, the Pandavas came to his help, but Jayadratha, by mercy of the Lord Shiva, repulsed them with great ability. At this, Arjuna took a vow to kill him, and on hearing this, Jayadratha wanted to leave the warfield and asked permission from the Kauravas for this cowardly action, but he was not allowed to do so. On the contrary, he was obliged to fight with Arjuna. And while the fight was going on, Lord Krishna reminded Arjuna that the benediction of Shiva upon Jayadratha was that whoever would cause his head to fall on the ground would die at once. He therefore advised Arjuna to throw the head of Jayadratha directly onto the lap of his father, who was engaged in penance at the Somantak Panchak pilgrimage. This was actually done by Arjuna. Jayadratha's father was surprised to see a severed head on his lap, and he at once threw it to the ground. The father immediately died, his forehead being cracked in seven pieces. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroho Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We try to understand shloka number 16, chapter 15, canto first. In this shloka, they're describing about the history of the Maharaj, Prahlāda Mahārāja, how his father disturbed him, how his father gave him so many uh, dangerous action, giving him so many dangerous actions his father uh, uh, do with him. And Nrsiṁha Bhagwan or Krishna Bhagwan is saved from all troubles. And another here, Karṇa, then um, Jayadratha, Bhūriśravā, Suśarmā, uh, like these 4 5 yodhas description is coming here. Prabhuji will tell us in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, am I audible to everyone clearly? Can someone confirm if I am audible? Hare Krishna,
Audible, but less low voice.
low voice. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here basically Arjuna is continuing to explain how absence of Krishna has affected him completely. So he has been giving different examples of his life. How each time Krishna has protected and Krishna has been the source of the success which Arjuna had received. In the same sentences sequence, is now remembering how all the great generals in the Kaurava army, they had so many strong weapons. In fact, it is said that their weapons would have been ideally invincible. But then all of them were directing those on Arjun. But because Krishna was with Arjun, Krishna's grace was with Arjun, none of those weapons even touched the tip of his hair. And it was similar to how Prahlāda Mahārāja, who was the supreme devotee of Nṛsiṁha Bhagwan, was unaffected by the weapons of the demons who were used against him by his own father, Hiraṇyakaśipu. Now, we all know the greatness of Prahlāda Mahārāja. We all know about his story, about Nṛsiṁha Bhagwan. And we are going to be seeing it more in detail in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam as well. He was just 5 years old, Prahlāda Mahārāja, when his father became angry on him. And the reason for anger was he did not accept him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he was aware that it is Krishna who is the God and not Hiraṇyakaśipu. And that is why the father, who was a demon, he tried everything in his means to destroy and to kill. Prahlāda Mahārāja was a devotee, and at all times he used to be saved by Krishna. Whether it was being trampled upon by the elephants, thrown from the top of the hill, in rivers, thrown in the well full of snakes, or even trying to be burned by Holika in the fire. Whatever he did, everything failed because Krishna protected. And that is why we saw the day before yesterday. Jare rakhe Krishna, tare mare koi. Jare Krishna rakhe, use koi, that no one can kill. And jare mare Krishna, jake mare Krishna, take rakhe koi. And if Krishna decides to kill someone,
then nothing in this world can save him. So Arjuna is remembering all these activities, and especially the divine protection which Krishna exerted during the Kurukṣetra war. So despite facing the greatest warriors, deadliest weapons, Arjuna was unharmed. So it cannot be only because of his own prowess. It was solely due to the mercy of Krishna. So whether it is the fiercest weapons, where it is the biggest of difficulties, whatever comes our way, we can always be protected if we are surrendered to Krishna. The key theme that we understand is that Lord protects his devotees. Krishna is always the protector of his surrendered devotees. And Krishna himself says it in Bhagavad Gita 9.22. Ananya chintayanto mam ye janha paryupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I personally carry what they lack and preserve what they have. The comparison with Prahlāda Mahārāja is really wonderfully done in this shloka. Because even Prahlāda Mahārāja was tormented and subjected to severest punishment. But he was always untouched because of Krishna's protection. Similarly, Arjuna, though facing powerful warriors and their weapons, always remained unharmed and untouched because of Krishna's presence and his grace. So obviously this brings us to the discussion whether what is important, the power of material strength or divine grace. So it's a choice between material strength versus divine grace. Now the great warriors which are mentioned in this shloka, which really are great, Bhīṣma, Droṇa, Karṇa, Bhūriśravā, Suśarmā, Śalya, Jayadratha, Bāhlika, they are all having their greatness. And they were invincible in their own right. Bhīṣma, till the Kurukṣetra war, was always undefeated. Droṇa was greatest teacher of weaponry. Karṇa was known for his supreme archery skills. Yet all their powers failed against Arjuna, and that was due to Krishna's presence. So this proves that no amount of material strength can surpass divine grace of Krishna. Material world functions under illusion that personal effort brings success. But this verse is there to remind us that real victory comes only through the mercy of the Lord. And the fourth point which comes out of this shloka is surrender is the ultimate shield. Arjun's success in battle was not due to his own might, but because of his total surrender to Krishna. So, it is in fact a reinforcement to our studies that surrendering to Krishna is the only shelter. And this is something which is mentioned even in the 10th canto, which we'll be seeing later on. Sanshrita ye pad pallav plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam buddhi vats padam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham. For those who take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the ocean of material suffering becomes as small as the water in the hoofprint of a calf. So this is very, very important. So it does not mean that the sufferings will end. So even if the sufferings remain, still they will become so small that we don't feel at all. Like if you are asked to jump over a well, forget jumping over an ocean or a lake or a river. Even jumping over a well, it is difficult. But then, if by some magic the well becomes only say 2 inches, you can easily jump. This is what Krishna does. All the difficulties, they become so small that we can simply jump over them. So the power of divine protection is supreme. And when supreme protection is there, no material power can cause harm. So indirectly, you understand the futility of material power. Material power, no matter how great, is insignificant before the will of my Krishna. So devotion and surrender is very, very important. It was Arjuna's unwavering devotion and surrender to Lord Krishna which made him invincible. Because he promised to Krishna, Karishye tava vachanam. He did not say, Karishye mama mananam. No. He said, whatever you order, Krishna, I will do. So this highlights the importance of bhakti and sharanagati in overcoming life's challenges. When we place our trust in Supreme Lord, He ensures our protection and guides us to victory. So we have to remember this. One of the words which comes here is demon's weapons when comparison is given to Prahlāda Mahārāja. So those weapons, they failed against Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva, which symbolizes that ultimately everything will be defeated. The defeat of ego, pride, materialism happens when they come face to face with divine grace. And that is why, just as demons' arrogance led to their downfall, Kaurava's pride and attachment to power led to their defeat. And if we also have any kind of attachment and ego, we will also have a downfall. So we need to understand that divine grace is supreme. Material achievements are temporary, divine blessings are eternal. We have to surrender to Krishna in all circumstances. When we align our will with His will, we become instruments of His divine plan and we get protected from all of that. So my will is Krishna's will. No, it is Krishna's will is my will. That has to be the situation. And humility is important. Humility is the greatest weapon. In fact, humility comes in strength also. So let us try to cultivate unwavering devotion and surrender to Krishna. This is very, very important. When we develop complete dependence on Krishna, faith in Lord's protection, humility in success, and understanding the temporary nature of material world, we will understand that we are nothing but instruments of Krishna's will. So following in the footsteps of great devotees like Arjuna, Prahlāda Mahārāja, we too can cultivate unshakable faith in Krishna and seek his refuge in all aspects of life. So surrenderance to Krishna is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of highest intelligence, because it ensures our ultimate success both materially and spiritually. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.